Hi, I guess that's me. I can totally relate to the previous caller. My name's Lori Bernier. I live in the villages of Grantville and Berrytown. I bought my property and moved back to Grantville after living elsewhere for approximately a year and a half. My hope was to recapture the serenity I grew up with, but now since the asphalt crusher operations are here, it's like a nightmare. The noise starts early in the morning, often waking me and my family, and it doesn't let up until the end of the workday. I find myself avoiding going outdoors and spending time due to the constant banging and clanging. There's just no peace. This has been going on for approximately 10 years now, since Northeast Materials Group asphalt and crusher operations were approved under their land use permits. Even as I sit here right now speaking to you, the noise is penetrating my house in the background. I can hear the noise in my home. There's been dust and odors and trucks over the years. The trucks are tremendous. I mean, the size and the amount of them are just unbearable, traveling through these little villages where people walk. And it's from morning till closing. I mean, there's just no peace 5 days a week. It's constant and it's consistent, and to me it's unacceptable and invades the privacy of our home. After receiving a visit from a friend recently and experienced what I do on a daily basis, his comment to me was that you cannot pay him to live here. To me, I think that statement alone speaks volumes, and it pretty well says and explains what it's like to live next to these types of industries. You know, that people wouldn't even want to live here. You couldn't even pay them to live here. My heart and soul are connected to my property. I was born here and I grew up here, next door, matter of fact. You know, why should I be expected to move and pick up and leave when I was the one who was robbed from my peace and quality of life? I didn't move in next to this industry. This industry moved in next to me. And it makes me really, really sad to think that I'll be subjected to this for the rest of my life, through my retirement years, you know, my golden years. You know, it's just not acceptable and it's wrong. I think the only way citizens can truly be helped is if the NRB is willing to take the steps to seriously step back and examine what's going on and take the constructive criticism that people are giving here today and actually act to make the changes needed to protect citizens against improperly cited industry. Or at least when a business is placed, it be effectively mitigated against negative impacts and have enforceable permit conditions. And that's the key word, enforced. Unfortunately, that has not happened for us here throughout the 10 years. Enforcement has been non-existent, and not helpful at all. I think in Graniteville, we had a unique situation where we were fortunate enough to have an engaged district commission in hearing our case on the crusher plant. It consisted of an engineer, an attorney, and an environmental worker. I feel this was a diverse group of knowledge to objectively look at the details that it takes and necessary to review a case like this. Because of this, I think that we effectively provided evidence, and we succeeded to not only rebut the presumption of the ANR air pollution control permit, which is basically unheard of. We were also successful in having the permit application denied. And that leads to a couple of the problems. One, in that there is a lack of training in our district commissions. We were lucky to have an experienced commission, but all too often in recent years, I don't believe the district commissions are qualified and trained with the knowledge it takes to objectively hear many of these cases. They don't have the experience, they haven't lived near them, they don't even know what it's like. It can be done, and it has been done in the past, which is evident in many past environmental board precedents and subsequent district commission decisions that were denied, and where identified impacts were mitigated and effectively done so by appropriate permit conditions. Just look back, we can learn from these cases. They're there. I know they're there because we use them effectively in citing parts of our case. And then I think another problem, one of the biggest in my eyes, is the applicant being denied the permit and then appealed in the environmental court. At this point, the NRB should have stood up behind and supported the district commission's decision and represented that position before the environmental court to uphold that decision. This is their own agency. Rather, the NRB did absolutely nothing. They did nothing for us. In fact, they didn't even remain neutral. They took the side of the applicant and just adopting the attitude in the administration's lead of all business is good. And you know, that's just not the case. There's many businesses that should not be cited. The NRB failed. They failed in effectively and adequately use and take advantage of their position as a party to the appeal in representing the interest of the public and safeguarding the health and safety of citizens under the criterion of Act 250. There is no doubt hearing what people are dealing with and living in industries like this is very important and should be given great attention, the attention it deserves. But until the NRB, in assuring businesses paid appropriately, or denied approval if undue or unreasonable impacts are determined under the criteria, you're all going to be hearing more people come in front of you, as I am and the others are here today, indefinitely. So I think in saying that, I hope that you hear what we all have to say and act upon it and take it seriously rather than just filing it away, because it doesn't help residents at that point. We end up losing our quality of life and what we worked hard for. Thank you.